Hello, my name is Valerie, and today I would like to discuss with you 2nd Esdras chapters 11 and 12 in the Apocrypha. It's known as the Ezra Eagle prophecy, and it talks about the decline of political America, making way for the political kingdom of God. I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, one of their 16.5 million members, but I am not an official spokesperson for them. All right, so I wanted to first introduce the Apocrypha. There is some worry, perhaps, among some saints of, do we trust the Apocrypha? Well, the Lord told us in Doctrine and Covenants, sections 91, 1-6, "Verily thus saith the Lord unto you concerning the Apocrypha. There are many things contained therein that are true, and it is mostly translated correctly. And whoso is enlightened by the Spirit shall obtain benefit therefrom." Now, the reason this even came up is that Joseph Smith was translating the Old Testament, and he asked the Lord the question, do you want me to translate the Apocrypha as well? And this was the Lord's answer to him. And ultimately, the Lord told him in verse 6, "And whoso receiveth the Apocrypha not by the Spirit cannot be benefited. Therefore, it is not needful that it should be translated. Amen." So that's the Apocrypha. The upside is that there are many things that are true, and it's mostly translated correctly. But if you don't have the Spirit, then you won't benefit from the things that are true. So about Ezra. So Ezra was one of these Apocrypha writers. He was, if you read about his life in the Apocrypha, he appeared to be a very righteous man. He was Daniel's brother. This is the Daniel that interpreted Nebuchadnezzar's dreams. This was Daniel in the lion's den. And both of these brothers appeared to be political dreamers. So Ezra had a dream about an eagle, and Daniel had many dreams about a variety of kingdoms. And what's interesting about Ezra's vision of the eagle is the Lord tells him that his vision connects with Daniel's visions. So there's the quote right there, "The eagle whom thou sawest come up from the sea is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel. But it was not expounded unto him, therefore now I declare it unto thee." And I think it actually is describing Daniel chapter 7, where there are 4 kingdoms that rise from the sea, and one of them is an eagle whose feathers have been plucked. So that's a very interesting connection to Ezra's eagle. So I think it has, I think it's the lion slash eagle-winged creature in Daniel 7. All right, so let's just go through a quick executive summary of Ezra's eagle. So here's the storyline. A powerful kingdom arises from the sea. This eagle is representative of the kingdom. She spreads her wings all over the earth. Her influence is felt everywhere. From the moment that this eagle is born, she has 3 heads that are described as kingdoms. The eagle also has wings and feathers. Those 2 words are used interchangeably, and we're told that they represent kings that reign one at a time. And the eagle also speaks from the midst of its body. So the eagle never talks from any of its 3 beaks. It's speaking from the midst of its body. So as you reflect on what type of a government could that be, you might come to the same conclusion that, sounds a lot like America. So as Ezra is watching this vision, he sees 2 versions of the eagle. So the first vision is the first kingdom that he sees, and I'm just going to call this the before kingdom. So in the before kingdom, the 3 eagle heads are at rest. There are 12 feathers that reign one at a time. And at the very end of this first kingdom, there are 2 contrary feathers that reign. We're never told why those feathers are contrary. We're just told that they are contrary. Then the vision changes, and he sees the second kingdom. Now, it's the same eagle, it's same body, same 3 heads, but now there are 6 new small contrary feathers that arise and reign one at a time. And in this second kingdom, the heads wake up and become active. some of the attributes of this second after kingdom is that the kingdom is experiencing great strivings, a lot of peril, and a lot of death. By the end of the eagle, all 3 heads die, and 2 of the 6 wings will die. Now, before these wings and these feathers die, a lion appears out of the forest and reproves the eagle for some of its wickedness. And the kingdom falls. It sounds very bleak, and I think that it is rather bleak. So let's get into it. All right, so this is just an illustration of the eagle. So you'll see there on the body of the eagle, I have the 3 heads. I think the 3 heads represent our executive, legislative, and judicial bodies of government. And you'll note that when you read this prophecy, these 3 heads are in verse 1. And that will be important for you to remember when you hear the prophecies of other people, because a lot of them are saying that these 3 heads are, end time leaders that come in, or they're foreign governments that come in. So just keep that in mind. So as I mentioned before, there are 12 feathers or wings on the eagle. The second feather has a great time, reigning twice as long as anybody else. He is told, there shall none after thee attain unto thy time, neither into the half thereof. So there's only one president that fits that description in America, and that's Franklin Roosevelt. He was elected to 4 terms, and then they changed the laws so that presidents can no longer reign that long. They can only reign for 2 terms. So that one little point establishes identification of the rest of the leaders, and it gives us a sense of timing. So now we can back it up 1 and see that president number 1 on this eagle is Hoover, number 2 is Roosevelt, number 3 is Truman, number 4 is Eisenhower, and you go all the way down to the end of the 12 wings, and the last wing is Bill Clinton. Now, at this point, the contrary feathers start. And again, I don't know what the contrary means. I'll just leave it up to everyone's imagination. But the contrary starts with George W. Bush. Now, the number of contrary feathers is actually 8. Only 2 of them appear on this eagle. The rest of them appear on the other eagle. And of all the things in the prophecy, this was the hardest thing to parse out, is where these 8 guys fit. So if you want to check that out, just check out 2 Esdras chapter 11, verses 22 to 23, and it will tell you why there's 2 on this eagle and 6 on the second eagle. So on this eagle, we started going contrary. In the second view of the eagle, it's definitely contrary. So as I mentioned before, the vision changes, and this time on the eagle, there are 6 small contrary feathers whose times are small and years are swift. What also differentiates this eagle from the other one is great strivings appear to the point where the kingdom shall stand in peril of failing. Nevertheless, it shall not then fall, but shall be restored again to his or to the eagle's beginning. So look at who's number 15. Wouldn't you know it? So Donald Trump is number 15. He brings us great strivings in peril. But the kingdom did not fall. The scriptures, or 11:26 says about him that he was set up, but shortly appeared no more, which is true. He was only there for 4 years. All right, let's see what the prophecy says about Biden. And the second was sooner away than the first. So you can expect that if this prophecy is true, and if it is about America, then Biden will not make it to the end of his term. It sounds like he's going to perish or somehow other, leave office early. And then something interesting happens. So at this point, the middle head, all 3 heads have been resting, but at this point, the middle head wakes up. The middle head has a conversation with the right heads and the left head, or the right head and the left head, and convinces the right and the left head to work together in collusion to eat up the next two kings that want to reign. And the reason they wake up is they see who is poised to reign after Biden, and they don't like it. And so they work in collusion to get rid of those two leaders. So number 17, he is eaten up and he perishes. Same thing with president number 18, this middle head that woke up, works with the right and left heads in collusion, and they eat up this king and he perishes. Now, something interesting happens after that. And you'll see that this is when the middle head dies. All right, now I think the middle head actually is Congress. So what could be so catastrophic that Congress dies? Now read 19 and 20 as well, that these last two presidents, they are kept to the end to lead a small kingdom full of trouble. So in addition to Congress dying, the population of the U.S. is going to become a small kingdom. So, I mean, if this prophecy is true, we are butting up against a very dangerous time in America. What ultimately happens to the eagle? Well, after the middle head dies, the right head devours the left head, and a lion emerges from the forest and reproves the eagle, and then the eagle is burned. Let's go to the eagle heads. I don't believe that these three heads are three individuals or external governments. I definitely believe that it is our executive, legislative, and judicial branches of government. They have dominion over the earth in the last days and reign with, these are the quotes, unrighteousness, much oppression, cruelty, and wickedness. For these heads are they that shall accomplish his, or the eagle's, wickedness, and shall finish his last end. So in case you're wondering how the Lord feels about America right now, he doesn't like it. He doesn't like where we are. He thinks we're cruel, wicked, etc. Now, the middle head. Why do I think the middle head is our legislative branch? Here are the details that lead me to believe that. So this head puts the whole earth in fear. It rules with oppression and has the governance of the world more than all the wings. So if it's more than the wings, it means it's not the wings. So the wings are ruled out, which means it's either going to be the legislative branch or the judicial branch. And, because the legislative branch is the one making the laws, I really think it's them. So other characteristics of the middle head, it wakes, it colludes with the left and right heads, eats up two end-time presidents when the leaders had thought about becoming the president, and they don't want those two people to reign, or at least to reign long, and that prospect alarms them, and so they get rid of them somehow. And then, all of a sudden, Congress, this middle head, appears no more. We're told that it dies upon its bed with pain. To me, that sounds like some kind of a biological attack. Now, I know that we've got COVID-19 right now, but this sounds a lot stronger because COVID-19 is not wiping us out to the point where we're a small kingdom. So I think it could be some type of a biological attack. It could also be some type of a major national disaster. Those are my two going theories. It could be martial law, military takeover. I don't know. But hard times are ahead. I think that's what this prophecy is telling us. Now, the right head also continues in its wickedness. It devours or slays the judicial branch by sword, and it remains to the end, ruling a small kingdom full of trouble. But at the last, he shall fall through the sword himself. So eventually, all three heads of the eagle die. And I already mentioned the left head. The judicial branch, it's devoured and slain. For the sword of one shall devour the other. I thought it was interesting about the symbolism of the sword. So Christ often talks about slaying people with the sword of his mouth. And it's those laws that we either live by, that save us or that we reject that damn us. And so by these laws, I feel like we've corrupted the government, and that is what helps it just to fall. It falls apart. So we kill it from within. We sabotage our own government. So this is what Christ says to the eagle. He says, "You've been deceitful and have not judged the earth with truth. You've afflicted the meek, hurt the peaceable, loved your liars, destroyed the dwellings of those that brought forth fruit, and cast down the walls," or destroyed the protections and security "of those that did thee no harm." Very malicious eagle. Your proud times, behold, they are ended. Therefore appear no more, thou eagle, nor thy horrible wings, nor thy wicked feathers, nor thy malicious heads, nor thy hurtful claws, nor all thy vain body, that the earth may be refreshed. He also tells the eagle that he's going to upbraid them with their cruelty. In other words, what you've been dishing out to others, you're going to get back in heaps. So it's payback time, alive in judgment, which means you will experience these penalties, this payback in this lifetime. And as I mentioned before, it's likely some type of war, pestilence, famine, natural disasters, anything that interrupts our supply chain or kills us, etc. We're told that Christ's people will be delivered with mercy. So he is going to spare the righteous. And at the end, I mentioned the whole body of the eagle is burned. So what do we do with this prophecy? Considering where we are on the timeline, that we've got these two last presidents coming up before the middle head dies and the country turns into a small kingdom. My advice to everybody is to, get your annual food storage, a year's worth of food storage and other preparations that can help you survive. Just a variety of disaster scenarios that could come up. Thank you for your time.